Covering whether Spanish or English or American or Chinese, we are one class of people. Make our fight your fight. Let's come together. Let's come together. Let's take up the slogan, no for that. They shall not pass. No for that.
Leposti zgradimo boljšo prihodnost. Nekaj let nazaj je bil ANTIFA festival opozorilo na narast fašizma. To je bil čas, ko ulice niso bile varne. Zdaj ni več toliko problemov z mladimi opranimi skinheadi, temveč z obliko fašizma, ki se imenuje kapitalizem. Zato smo zavzeli ulice, zavzeli smo jih v obliki direktne akcije. In s svojo kreativnostjo pokažimo, da nam ni vseeno. 21. do 22. novembra bo v Pragi potekal sestanek vključitve v NATO. Napovedujejo se masovne demonstracije in začetek bolj tesnega sodelovanja anarhistov in anarhist iz vzhodne Evrope. Moramo se odločno upreti militarizaciji naše družbe. Razširimo informacije o nevarnosti vključitve Slovenije v NATO ter organiziramo akcije in proteste tukaj ali se pridružimo našim bratam in sestram v Pragi.
Kličejo nas nasilne, da bi sakrili svoje nasilje. Kličejo nas neumni huligani, čeprav nas sploh ne poznajo. Hočejo razbiti naše gibanje, ker uporabljamo različne taktike. Vzami borbo kot svoj način življenja, z rožo ali s kamnom v roki. Imaš pravico izbrati si svoj način boja za enakopravno družbo. Lahko nas ubijajo, vendar ne morejo ubiti vseh. Lahko nam zlomijo kosti, vendar ne našega duha. Živela anarhija, smrt kapitalizmu!
kaj, prvo vprašanje?
17 oglon časa.
17 minut. Okay, so first question is the usual question. Can you present yourself by names and tell a little bit about the band? When did you start to play and what kind of music are you playing and so on, this usual stuff.
Okay.
Matt, Mike, Philip. We've been a band since 1995.
Those two, and 1996 with me on drums.
Yeah.
We started because we were living in the same city and we're both doing bands and we liked each other's bands and we were both bass players in those bands and we wanted to create something that played something that more reflected what we wanted to hear. Though we didn't know what that was, but once we started playing together, I guess we found out.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah. He saved us.
Yeah. Then, we had an original drummer who had other, I guess, things in her life that was more important, and then he joined and
Here we are.
filled it all in.
Yeah.
Yep. For better or worse.
It's your first time here in Europe? You've been here before?
It's our first tour in Europe.
First tour.
Yeah.
How long now?
About 4.5 weeks total.
Since April 3rd. Yeah. But the first week we just hung out. We didn't play any shows, so started playing shows on the 11th.
So where were you before and where are you going to?
We've been in Holland, Germany, Poland, Czechoslovakia,
Czech
Austria.
Republic.
Oh shit. Yeah, Czech Republic.
Oh
Man, it's on video
do
too.
know that.
Czech Republic,
Oh, I didn't know
Austria, and now here. And then we have 2 days off and we drive to Spain.
Switzerland.
that. And France.
Yep.
And then we go home.
Tour.
Yeah.
So about your lyric, I was reading a little bit on the internet.
Okay.
I think they're quite personal. I mean, more emotional. So who is the writer of the lyrics here?
We've all three of us have written.
How
I think
come?
most of what's written on the internet though is probably Phil's, right?
No, it's actually pretty
Is it all of them?
It's a mix.
Okay.
I mean, it's quite unusual for a punk band to have.
You calling us a punk band?
Well, would you like to say something else?
No, I don't. I'm joking. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, usually they're more like political or, just rebellion or something. I was quite surprised because maybe emo bands are more personal, but not
It's
so
kind of a
much.
mix.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have some politics to the lyrics, but at the same time, what you experience day to day and what you feel and where you're at is
Just
as important as anything else, And beyond that, that's the way he writes, and he's a great writer, so we end up using a lot of his words.
A good picture of you. No, I'm joking. But now here you're here in ANTIFA, so how do you think you were watching at the beginning a short movie and so on? Do you feel a part of it? Or just, you're in this scene but not so much active in this way?
Well, it's kind of strange because we're in Europe, a place none of the three of us have been before. So being here, I guess, speaking for myself personally, I kind of feel like an observer and a guest, and I'm just taking it in, like seeing what's going on. In the United States, we're involved with things to various degrees in our community and such. So I mean, we're a part of life, and whether people like it or not, their life is politics.
Well, I think Portland, you're from Portland, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think this is quite a strong thing. Otherwise, music scene or anything in Portland, because a lot of bands from here are coming. I know Harm's Karm were here.
Yeah.
Remains the day.
Yeah, Remains the Day and so on. So it's quite a lot. I mean, most of the time we see America, we're from Portland.
Yeah.
It's a good town.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening there. A lot of people there.
There's not too many towns in the United States that, I don't know, how would you say it? Like,
I don't know.
most of the United States is shit. Portland at least has some good things going on, and there's a couple other cities that do as well.
And the natural, a lot of the natural beauty is still intact for the time being. Anyways, it's a very, very beautiful state, and it's very important to me as a person. I love like backpacking and camping and all that. So
You were the one who was going to the mountains.
yeah.
I read about you.
Yeah.
I did my homework.
See, I told you the webpage was a good idea.
They do read it. Wow.
So you should stay a little bit more in Slovenia. We have great mountains here.
Yeah, we drove through them. It's beautiful.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, the last drive we took, the last 10 hours, was just fantastic.
Se boš podružil, če smo vprašanje za meni.
Zdaj še vprašaj del sklopa, da bomo lahko premede izdala zraven, no, fašizmu. Veš, ko bomo lahko pa zraven komponirala.
Ja,
Pa sem njihovo stališče do tega, pa mogoče kaj še imajo. Zdaj razloži.
Sklopo?
Da delava v Mayday, pa delava ANTIFA, pa moš
Zdaj sem jih že
vprašati.
vprašala v bistvu o tej malo. Čutim, da se zdaj upalo to počasi. Jaz smo samo
It's just a commercial break.
Fair enough.
A political question because it's Antifa and we have to ask you. But you already said that you feel like a part of it. But when, like for example, when there was demonstrations in Seattle a few years ago and so on, does maybe in Portland also has this movement, or is it more freely? I mean, have you any contacts with this kind of movement or not?
Yeah. I was in Seattle for the WTO, which was amazing for me because typically protests in the United States are sort of formalities. Everyone goes through the motions, not much happens. So I went there very cynical, and I had just moved to Portland. I'd been there maybe a month, so I didn't even know people. But I went thinking, well, I guess it's worth it, and was really inspired by that. And there was a May Day protest in Portland as well that was a couple of years ago that was basically a police riot upon everybody. The movement in the U.S. has gotten a lot stronger, and a lot more people seem involved and care, which has been good, but it's still, people are very comfortable in America, you know, they, like, especially Portland even, there's so many punks, artists, freaks, whatever you want to say, you know, and, but everyone kind of has what they need, and because of that, it's hard to motivate, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but the United States is definitely behind a lot of places. Like on this tour, I think everyone would agree that we've seen some people and movements and squats and such that have been amazing to us, very real, inspired, active, and Portland, for the amount of people that are there, should have more happening than is. But it's
That's
just
a good
too...
point, because when people are affected personally, it adds a whole new dimension to everything, and rather than just being in the distance or a literary something they read about. And that's the case in the States. A lot of I know about the movements, but yeah, that's if you're comfortable. It's well, I don't want to cause trouble. I don't want to sacrifice my comfortable life. But we've met people, and well, even at your house.
Spots in Portland or
Not in Portland, I don't think.
Of what?
Spots in Portland?
I
It's
always
really
prefer
hu-
for New York, not for other
Portland's
towns.
like- All the houses are taken.
Yeah.
There's very few abandoned buildings.
Yeah.
There's like, it's just not a city that really has that as an opportunity too much.
And that's an area where the police. It's a wealthy place, Portland, and I feel like the police presence is so strong that they're bored and they're looking at like it's. I can't even picture
People have tried and
squatting.
failed repeatedly there. Yeah, New York and Philadelphia are the main two. I think New Orleans might have a couple of spots as well, but I mean, even in those cities, though, most of them don't last. It's really, really hard.
It's a different scene.
Yeah, because the neighbors are mad about it, and they call the cops, and the cops come, and then it's hard to rally the same support to support the squats and the people. So, yeah, it's a tough situation.
Okay. So, can you now tell me a little bit? Have you released anything until now, or maybe what plans you have for future, in near future, with your band and the music?
We've got one CD that we put out about 5 years ago, and then we've got a double CD that we just put out 2 months ago. And the future is just all about making more music and recording it and releasing it.
Ja, kaj si mislil o Chamberlainu? Ne vprašaj, to me prvi zanima. Če imaš to više. It's not a question for the Zim, but
He always has the same question.
I always.
So I'm kind of angry, but it's always so.
But usually
I can
with
avoid.
English bands, but not Americans. But anyway, I want to ask, what do you think about Chambalamba? And the movement and the beginning of the movement. Do you know Chambalamba?
Yeah, I know. Like you're referring to like signing on a major label.
Yeah. So what's your point or statement about that?
I mean, there's a very large sentiment that is, if you want to change things, you cannot work in the existing system. And yeah, I don't know if I'm the person to talk to about that, but I seem to agree with it a whole bunch. I mean, but yeah, you know, I mean, if it applies to us, we think about in the States a matter of do you want to play bars or just stay in the basements, because there aren't venues like this in the States. It's either you play in people's basements for the equivalent of maybe you don't even get any money usually, or you can play in a bar where it's out of your control and you might get some money, but that's kind of maybe can be considered by some, selling out to a degree.
It's
So
kind of two different things, though.
Like,
with
so
all
major
due
label?
respect.
Oh no, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Everyone's doing what makes sense to them, and I don't think we're gonna take that route. I mean, keeping in mind we don't have that option, but I mean, everyone's doing what makes sense to them. Like, I'm not in full support of that, but I'm not completely opposed to it. Like,
Yeah. I think it's interesting in that I feel like they thought they could reach more people, but I feel like I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I find it interesting that the label they signed to commercialized them completely by making them part of the soundtrack to one of the dumbest movies ever, Home Alone 2, which I think kind of ruined the band. Like, I feel like it's over for them. And
yeah, there's a line you can cross.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, and that in the ideal of working within the system, maybe you think you can outsmart the system, but maybe you can't. Maybe if you're in it, they're in control and they know what they're gonna do. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, whatever. They did what they did, so
yeah,
who cares?
folks are smart people, and I'm sure you could ask that same question to any one of those people in that band, and they would articulate, for like an hour about why it was the right decision for them. So I think that's interesting that there's always lots of different opinions flying around.
No?
Thank you.
About an hour and a half long. We present different bands with interviews and some events that are happening through the year, like now this ANTIFA, which is happening May. So we will try to put all together, like a short movie or something. Something like that. We'll see when we start. So okay, the first question is the usual question. Can you present yourself and a little bit tell about your band? When did you start to play? And what did you do in all this time while you're having a band? The releases and so on.
I'm Frank and I sing.
I'm Chanel and I play guitar.
I'm Brian, I play guitar as well.
I'm Chris, and I play bass right now.
Our drummer is somewhere.
Somewhere.
Chris is filling in for our other bassist who couldn't come with us.
And we started about almost 5 years ago. My friend and I, who used to play guitar, wanted to learn how to play guitar, so we decided to start a band to learn. And we got everybody together, and that's how we started. And since then, we've put out a whole lot of 7 inches, and just released a 12-inch. I can't list all the 7 inches, maybe I can.
I think there's 7 inches. The first one was a benefit for 2 animal rights groups. It was put out by Tribal War Records. A couple of them we put out ourselves. There's the Uses a Harp 7-inch. There's a one-sided flexi. There's a split with a Japanese band called Y.
And the Japanese tour 7-inch.
Yeah, a one-sided Japanese tour 7-inch called Nuclear Violence.
Spectres of the Holocaust.
There's Spectres of the Holocaust 7-inch that came out on Wicked Witch Records, and then the new 12-inch Total Control, which is also on Wicked Witch Records from Holland.
And split CD.
Oh, and there's a split CD that has
And split tape.
well, there's a split CD that has a lot of the early 7 inches. It's a split with a band from Malaysia called Mass Separation that they put out. And then there's the demo, which came out in different forms as various split tapes and things.
So, yeah, anyway.
You worked a lot.
Yes.
So it's not your first time in Europe here? Or
Well,
you've been
as
here
a band,
before?
yes.
As a band, yes.
But yeah, some of us have been here before.
I think all of us have been here before,
Yeah.
with different bands.
This is Scott, our drummer, by the way.
He's also filling in for our drummer who couldn't make it.
So can you tell me a bit, because doing music that you play, people can understand really lyrics. Can you tell me what kind of lyrics do you have? What are the topics that you are involved to?
Some of them are just the general sort of protest lyrics that lots of punk bands have, with animal rights and environmental lyrics and songs against the government and stuff. And some of them are more specific to various things. There's songs about the United States and the British government smuggling Nazi war criminals into their countries and Nazi scientists to
Hang out.
to work for intelligence agencies in the military and for NASA. And actually the CIA, which is the American intelligence agency, was created by former Nazis, and also the NASA space program was designed and created by former Nazi scientists. And there's songs about government mind control experiments in the United States. The new record has a lot of things about various forms of control practiced by governments around the world, and who actually controls the governments and who funds what, and concentration camps that existed in the United States and concentration camps that are planned for the future for political dissidents and anyone going against the government. Some of the lyrics people are considered conspiracy kind of topics, but and they're all based in fact, and it's all things that have happened and that are planned for the future.
I'm impressed. No, but otherwise, then, are you also active in that way, beside the band? I mean, in other movements in the United States, in what kind of groups or anything? Can you tell me a little bit about that, maybe?
Well, I'm involved with Food Not Bombs, just one day a week, and just making food for the people, and feeding homeless and the needy.
I don't think any of us are in any groups, specific groups, but we attend demonstrations and raise money and awareness and whatnot for various issues and groups. And obviously the way that the things we sing about and the things we have in our lyrics are reflective of how we live our lives.
How do you feel now when you're playing on ANTIFA?
Oh, this is awesome. Very exciting.
You're going tomorrow away?
Yeah.
Tomorrow we go to
At Pula, and then further. You are not coming back because it's the whole week of
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. But in Monday there will be photo moms and everything. So
No, we have shows for a while. Yeah.
This is really amazing though. I didn't realize how big this festival was, or what a big week it was going to be. When I heard that we were playing a festival, I just thought it was a music festival until I got here.
Yeah.
And someone was telling me about this whole block and all the things that are happening here. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty impressive.
yeah, it's a short festival. It's in 2 separate times.
Yeah.
To the end of the week. So it's more quiet now. It's not so loud. Ja ne vem, zdaj povej, če hočeš še kakšno specifično vprašanje, ker sem še malo... Ja, ne bi to slišala. Yeah, you said pretty much, not maybe in so many words, but a lot, So I kind of don't have any questions.
Lahko vprašaš za skvote v Portlandu, mogoče ti kaj pove, ko boš rabila ti sama, ne?
But otherwise, this local Portland scene, I mean, how strong is it? Is all this, what you are saying now, also reflected in Portland? I mean, is there also squat movements there, and also activists?
There's not much of a squat movement in the U.S. at all.
It's
pretty impossible to...
It is very, very, very...
I mean, I've heard about squats in bigger cities like New York and in places like this where there's a bigger group of people that can work together to keep it. But I mean, I've never heard of anything that lasted for really very long. It's pretty difficult, I think, in the U.S., especially because it seems like it's part of just the community's idea of what's right and what isn't. It's not just the police; it's people around them that say, "Hey, I'm paying rent."
Public opinion is very
it's kind of
private property.
Yeah.
Based around ownership of property and why should you get something for free when we have to pay for it. There is actually a couple of places in the U.S., like a couple cities like Philadelphia has pretty large squatting. There's a lot of people at squat houses there. It's just a city like Portland, I think, is
It's
not
really
as
small.
large, and it's fairly, it's a lot newer of a city than something like Philadelphia. So there's large areas of just completely blown out ghettos,
Right.
with just rows and rows of abandoned buildings, abandoned houses. So
yeah, it seems like
it's hard in Portland. It's hard to even find a place when you're paying rent.
that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, people. It seems like there's a lot of change in the population in Portland too. It's growing and it's expanding. So like you said, it's not that old, and so there's not a lot of empty buildings really, and everything that is empty, people have already got plans for. So it's not as easy, I don't think.
A lot of the laws and conditions that seem to exist here don't really exist in the United States. From what I've heard, occupying a building for a certain amount of time entitles you to either make a bid or not be evicted, whereas in the United States, if you don't own the property you're on, even if you're paying rent and have an agreement with the landlord, you can be kicked out at any time. And if you're living in a building that belongs to somebody else and they don't know you're there, the police can come and take you out at any time.
Are you familiar with this organization, Homes Not Jails? Who is also, what is it, from Boston?
I'm not very familiar with. I know a lot about it. I know it was active in San Francisco for a while, but I really don't know if it still is. I don't know. I know it's not in Portland.
Portland is I've only lived there for about 8 years or 7 years, but it's always been considered a very political city, not just the punk scene, but the whole area. The state of Oregon is sort of Portland is in the middle of a big forest, yes, and it's kind of the liberal voice of Oregon. The rest of Oregon is really conservative and right-wing, and there's a lot of activism that happens in Portland, and a lot of political groups doing things. The punk scene is fairly political as well. I mean, I don't know other cities. It seems
Yeah, I was
more
just
politically
saying,
minded than other cities. I
the
don't know.
band before that, almost all bands who are coming from America are coming from Portland.
Yeah.
Are playing here.
It's happened in the last few
Yeah.
years. So everybody in America moved to Portland.
So you can squat the rest of America.
Yeah, okay, it's empty. And good for you. Also.
Sort of. Yeah, all the people moving to Portland makes it more expensive and harder to find places to live and harder to find jobs.
It's not just punks either.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
It's number 2, I think, on the living style area. The best places to live.
Yeah.
It used to be, and then 2 months ago it was declared that it has the highest unemployment rate in the entire country.
Yeah, it's pretty insane to find a job there.
Yeah,
Which is
it seems
something
like
you have to do.
It's a really quick fluctuation. I'm kind of just waiting for it to stop at some point.
If you have any cigarettes.
But yeah, I'm curious to see how it will be when people start to settle there, because now it's like there's a lot of coming and going, and especially in the punk scene, like things are really disjointed. Just because there's so many people, you can't possibly know everyone. People are coming and going all the time. So I think maybe after some time and things have settled more, will be a much stronger community.
When we get back, there'll probably be about 10 more bands started, or else I'll move there.
No, but before it was, I mean, I didn't want it to joke about it, it was just like, I don't know, here were Harumskarum and then War Machine and, some other bands, so, I don't know, most of the time, you ask them and say, oh, we're from Portland, So,
It might be the sort of thing where one band goes from Portland and then the other bands sort of say, hey, we can do that too. Yeah. I don't know why the rest of the country can't get it together.
I think they are. I don't know.
Huh.